Sun shines through my window on an autumn afternoon. Leaves falling down as a window, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. I'm ready to start over. My heart can't take no more. I see myself but don't know her. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. On a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gotta hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free. I can be free on a midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let go. Ready to let go. Looking to tomorrow, but staying in the day, surrendering my sorrow, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. On a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gotta hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free. I can be free on a midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to grow. I am ready to on a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gonna hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free on a midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know. Taking it slow because I know. I'm ready to let go. Ready to let go. Said I'm ready to let, ready to let go.
Millie sang, yeah? Now it's our turn. So everybody stand and sing. Love is my decision.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No decision right here, right now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the joy 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 moving in me. I feel the love 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 moving in me. I feel the Spirit 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 moving in me.
Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. I'm Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and it is my great honor to serve as your senior minister.
And I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak, and it's a pleasure always to be with all of you here.
And we say a big thank you to Millie Edwards for gifting us with music this morning, along with Reverend Fred and Terry and James and Brian. We are always blessed by their gifts and talents. Now, I know I shared with you last week that I would be at Unity of Omaha today, and as the week unfolded, it became clear to me that I needed to be home this Sunday. And so we are going to take some time now in the service. Many of you already have heard and through the e-news or through word of mouth as a community that our dear Cindy Spear made her transition into Love's Radiance on Thursday evening. Cindy Spear was the last living founder of Unity Church of Overland Park. And many of you know that last year I lost my grandmother, and I shared something with you about that I felt a shifting of the generations in my family. And I have that very same feeling among us today. There's a shifting of the generations. Cindy was one of 32 impassioned people who gathered in November of 1974 to talk about establishing a Unity presence in Johnson County. So for nearly 49 years, that vision has been singing its song in the midst of us and as us. So we have so much to be grateful for. so much to be grateful for is this beautiful woman, Cindy Spear. And I know when I showed Reverend Eileen this photograph here, she said, "Oh, that's the Cindy I know."
Poured my coffee for me every Sunday. The last
Every
time I was here,
Sunday.
I was not allowed to pour my own cup of coffee. Cindy
The queen of
wanted
hospitality.
to pour. Yeah.
She loved this community, and she continues to love us from across the veil. We know this truth. And if you turn your attention to the fourth row, you will see a special light focused right where she would sit week after week. And on it is her name tag. And many of you know she sat in a wheelchair, but she is unlimited now. So we've placed a regular chair for her. There's also a blanket that was created by our own Yarn Blessings group to represent the blanket that Angela gifted her. A stitching of the heart that Cindy loved so much. So in this space, we are going to do what we actually do every week. We have a mission statement, we have a vision, we have core values, but in truth and underneath all of that, we are here for one purpose: to walk each other home. And so for the many, many people over the last 49 years who have been walked home by Cindy, we call their presence into this space. For the other 31 founders who have already made their transition, we call their souls into this space to join each and every one of us who carry the light and the vision that was born in their hearts nearly 49 years ago. We sit in expression and knowing that we are united as the beacon of light that is the presence of unity in Johnson County and in the world.
And you'll notice that there's a new additional light in the sanctuary this morning, and that is the pink candle that's lit on our altar table. Friday morning, Jackie and I were just beginning to have conversation around this experience, and the color pink just entered our conversation for the candle. And so yesterday I spent some time just reading about the color. What's its symbology? What traits or emotions does it represent? And everything that I read we could apply to Cindy. But I came across just a very brief statement that said that pink is known as a very spiritual color, often associated with love, and that it is known to represent the balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. And so when I look at that light today, as you glance at it throughout our service, Cindy was all about love. And she was and continues to be such a light in this ministry and in our individual lives and so many others. And yet, when someone like Cindy moves on from this earthly life, we want 5 more minutes of that physical presence. I want another cup of coffee from Cindy this morning, right? And so we grieve and we're sad and the tears come. And yet at that deeper level that Jackie was speaking to, that divine aspect in us is on the other side of that coin. And love is something that never, ever dies. And so as we move through and back and forth between sadness and joy, tears and smiles, let Cindy's light and let that love balance us as we move through our own processes, as we honor and acknowledge and remember Cindy in our own ways.
Let's join our hearts in prayer. We give thanks for this day that has been ordained for us to be a time of celebration of life, of community. As we place the expression of God that we have known as Cindy Spear right in the center of our hearts, we also draw in her niece Michelle and her extended family, her sister, and so many who have loved her even outside of this community. Cindy was a sacred presence of loving kindness. And we know that that truth continues. We feel her presence in this moment, though she has released her physical being. She is now fully whole, unlimited, and present as love's radiance itself. As we have worked with the idea that there is no time and space and prayer can work backward and forward, we will now engage a very sacred way to apply this truth. And so I invite each of us, if you are watching from the balcony online, either now or in the future, to go ahead and be with us in this moment. To those in the room, we are going to take ourselves to Thursday night, Menorah Hospital, in Cindy's room. And we gather around her as her beloved community, the fruit of her vision and intention. And as we gaze upon her radiant face, we allow the details of the hospital to fade away. We allow any disease or discomfort in her to fade away, because that is not the truth of her. And as we see her radiance brighten and her love expand, we see in her the moment where her soul becomes ready to let go, ready to experience soul freedom once again. And we know it because that same knowing is woven into the fabric of our own souls. And as love lifts us through this moment, and she begins to take her last breath, her breath of life becomes our own, and we breathe with her together now in, and we exhale. Into the stillness of the sacred. And in this space and this time, we are in the fullness of our own knowing that life always has the last word. Breath, the very name of God, is on her lips as she is ready to let go. And as her beloved community, we now hold with us in our hearts the memories, the laughter, the coffee, the love, sacred moments. As Cindy's soul disperses like stardust into the universe, into each and every one of us and all around us, we can only say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this life and this love. And I now invite you to move to another time and space. Perhaps a conversation you had with Cindy, an experience, coffee or lunch. For some of you, you may go back decades to one tender moment. Perhaps it's days or weeks. If you didn't know her, I invite you to just to hold the space of love and eternity with us in this moment, for your soul knows. And in this point of connection with Cindy, simply speak to her. Thank you. Thank you, dear Cindy, for all that you have been and all that you will ever be. And we are left with this truth. There is only love.
I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and I hear the Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
On Thursday night, I received a text from Cindy's niece, Michelle, who is with us here this morning, letting me know that Cindy had transitioned. And we spent about maybe 10, 15 minutes in a text exchange with one another. And in the last text that Michelle sent me to close our conversation for that night, she shared with me that every time she would go to visit with Cindy, that she would read her the daily word reading for that day. And she told me how each reading for every day was the absolute perfect reading for that day and for Cindy and for Michelle and the family. And so she read the daily word on the 20th, and it was about healing. And I stopped her this morning. I said, were those perhaps the last words that Cindy would have heard from you? And she thinks they were. And so we wanted to share those words into this sacred space that we're experiencing today with Cindy as we process our journeys of letting her go into the next, as you say, the radiance of spirit. And I want to share that this reading goes so much deeper than just healing at a physical level. This reading was written and it's offered to us to receive through the lens of our divinity, that divine aspect in us that is always alive and active in us. And so in John chapter 10, verse 10, Jesus said, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I take this to heart and remember abundant life. Healing life is my birthright. I am always whole. Radiant life is mine. I am luminous, aglow with divine life. Every part of my body and mind responds to my faith and words of affirmation. Anchored in my faith, I turn my attention away from thoughts of illness or insufficiency. I align my thinking with the healing life of God and claim that healing as my own. Healing may seem miraculous, but it is the natural outworking of spiritual law. And as I realize wholeness as an aspect of my divine identity, I feel the truth of God in my heart. I feel the truth of God in my heart.
I feel the truth of God in my heart. And the result of love is gratitude and joy. So we continue on this day, grateful and joy-filled, doing church in just the way Cindy envisioned, joy-filled, connected, fully present, and awake. Thank you, Cindy, for this vision and for the nearly 49 years that you walked it with us, and for the eternity for which you will be an angel among us. Thank you, God, for the truth that comforts the heart. And that is the essence of our oneness. And so it is. Amen. So now we open our hearts even more to the presence of one another, the love in each other. And we do church joyfully. Today we welcome Stacy Storm to share with us her journey. We'll welcome Swan Hilda in the meditation time. And so we lift our hearts. We lift the ceiling right off of this place because we are unlimited. And we are joyful and we are joy-filled. And so be it.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you, Reverends Eileen and Jackie and Millie. Hi.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for centering us in that way and helping us feel Cindy's spirit here with us today. My name is Tiffany Crabtree, and Ellis and I are here to just give you all a little bit of information about things that are coming up at Unity Church of Overland Park. And so one of the first things I'd like to remind everybody about is that the Dismantling Racism class is about to begin. Today is the last day to sign up, and the class begins on Wednesday. July 26th. There are a few spots available, so if you've been thinking about it and you haven't yet decided to register, today's the day to do it. Reverend Eileen would love to have you in the class. There's a sign-up table in the back of the sanctuary, and also you can sign up online.
Well, good morning. And if I might say an additional word about our dear, lovely Cindy, as part of the team that brought her to and from church each Sunday, that was such a blessing. It would be lovely to take her one more time. She was always so loving and so grateful. And I think the last word she said to me was, thank you. And many years ago, she did a carving for me when I was on the board of directors. And I think I see it back on the table. So if you'd like to see a piece of her handiwork, there's a good example. So, we are currently enrolling volunteers to assist with our youth and family ministry. We realize that we have fewer children and youth during the summer months, but we also know the importance of offering a YFM program. If you're interested in volunteering, there's a sign-up sheet on the table in the back, and if you have any questions, you can email the church office or call and contact Reverend Jackie or Reverend Eileen. And lastly, the men's group will have their monthly meeting on Saturday, August the 5th. They'll gather for breakfast at the Lenexa Public Market at 8:30 a.m. and then move just across this parking lot to the library for continued time of connection and conversation.
Thank you. And can everybody join with me in saying the joint vision statement? A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing, and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it, so we keep waiting, waiting for the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to be persistent when you're standing at a distance, but we keep waiting, waiting for the world to change. Now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, then we wouldn't miss a Christmas, no ribbons on the door. When you trust your cab television, what you get is what you got. 'Cause when they own the information, they bend it all they want, but we keep waiting, waiting for the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know the fight ain't fair, but we keep waiting, waiting on the world
I just realized the majority of you don't know American Sign Language. Well, fortunately, we have an interpreter to provide English access for you this morning. So if you would give us a moment, we're going to give Tanya time to get situated, and then she'll be able to provide access for you all this morning.
Okay. So what I was starting to say was, my goodness, I just feel so inspired today. I feel humbled and honored to be invited by Reverend Jackie to share my journey, share part of my journey. So most of you this morning came to church assuming you would have access to what is stated here. And you probably assumed that the language used on stage would be one that you understand. That's not the experience for some people in our world. And that's one big reason I decided to use ASL today. I am honored to be a part of the deaf community. I am honored to be bilingual. And I want to open today by acknowledging and thanking the deaf community for giving me their language, for welcoming me into their community. People who are here today, and those of them that taught me and welcomed me into their world since I was a little girl. Many of you know that my sister was deaf. So when she was 5, I was born. So I was born into the deaf world. I don't remember any day on this earth with no ASL, with no deaf people. That's always been my life. I am also very, very grateful that I was born and raised with new thoughts. Part of how our family arrived to the New Thought principle was thanks to my sister, really. My mother had my sister, found out that she was deaf, and my mother went out looking for support. Like many hearing people, she had never met a deaf person until she had a child of her own that was deaf. That was the first deaf person she had met. So at the time, she and my dad went out searching for support. She approached a Baptist minister, and that Baptist minister first told my parents, "You're being punished for your sins by having a deaf daughter." Now, thank goodness Mom knew that was ridiculous and untrue. And my parents continued along their journey of support and came to Science of Mind from Ernest Holmes and some affirmations, some powerful affirmations. And this then guided my sister's healing and starting my parents' journey with raising a deaf child. When I was born 5 years later, they had already found a place where they could learn ASL. Their beginning experiences was to learn a signed system, more of signing exact English, not ASL, because that is, what was and actually still is taught to parents, signing exact English. The point is they did learn to sign, to communicate with their deaf daughter. So while my parents were learning sign, I was with my sister and her friends interacting, and I was so grateful that I was able to pick up signing naturally, and it was my first language. And of course, spoken English is everywhere, so I was able to acquire that naturally. And so for today, I decided I have to sign to show my honor and gratefulness to our community. So today I want to talk a little bit about identity, where we belong, and that feeling of separateness, this or that, either or. I have a long lived experience with that feeling. Being born into the deaf and hearing world both, and I embody both because I can hear. But I don't call myself a hearing person. I don't identify as a hearing person, even though I can hear. You know, that's your journey, your experience. I don't have that same experience. I have the experience of being able to hear, but I also have the experience of being in a rich deaf world. The way of seeing the world that they've imparted to me. I don't have their lens and their experience, but I have a front seat to that. And I am absolutely honored. And I can't ignore that. I embody both, and I must. And it's not been easy to arrive to that place where I can recognize and be proud of both identities. For many years, I struggled because I've always felt like I have to choose one or the other. I fit into the hearing world. No. I fit into the deaf world, and trying to navigate between both. But that's the beauty of it, of recognizing the uniqueness. It's not always been comfortable. And I have different experiences and journeys of being both part of the hearing and deaf world. And that's part of my experience today. And navigating both hearing and deaf worlds growing up. You know, when I was in my 20s, I started to realize what's assumed that, you know, I'm straight. That was not my experience. I found myself attracted to other women. And I started to realize, and then I became in a relationship with a woman, and that began my experience of recognizing that I am not what people assume I am, which may be straight. That journey of, you know, self-exploration and what people want to label me as. I was comfortable with one label in this world, which was Stacy, the label of Stacy. But society often wants us to fit into one label, this or that. And the in-between is, I mean, there's so much opportunity for us in the in-between. Give me a moment to look at my notes. So as I was preparing for this talk today, I thought a lot about my journey. And of course, I work as an interpreter. I started interpreting. I started workshops at the age of 14. And I think because, you know, it's not that I wanted to become an interpreter, but I felt like that was the space that I could see myself in, of being both hearing and deaf, that in-between space where I could feel comfortable and I fit in, I belong. So I started professionally interpreting at the age of 16 and have been ever since. And so that experience of navigating, and I still, you know, felt at home in the deaf community. I felt at home in the hearing community, but where I felt absolutely settled is in the in-between. And that's, you know, where I would interpret in both worlds. Dr. Brene Brown has a quote, you know, where she speaks about the concept of fitting in and belonging. And, you know, she says that really they are the opposite of each other, fitting in and belonging. Fitting in means you have to change something about yourself to be able to fit in. Belonging does not require you to change who you are. It actually requires you to just be who you are. That is where you belong. So I was speaking to Reverend Jackie, sharing my journey, my experiences, and how she framed it to me, when I was talking about feeling like I don't fit into the hearing world completely. I don't fit in completely to the deaf world. I just, I feel like I'm on my own island. I was sharing that, and Reverend Jackie said, well, maybe that's the point. You are both. That's who you are as Stacy. And I thought, oh, well, I know she's not the first person to say that. Swanhilda has told me that. Other people, my mother has told me that. But for some reason, in that moment, I had to hear it that way. It was not about being this or that. It's about embodying both. So last week, Jackie mentioned the letter that she wrote herself, that we all did through the Burning Bowl. Yes, Burning Bowl. I cannot remember which was which, but I read mine as well. And my letter also talked about how this year is the year to accept and value all of me, both parts, deaf and hearing parts of me, which is just so amazing. Yes, thank you. So amazing. So, let me look for a moment. So, as we navigate through this human experience, like Jackie stated, we are here to guide each other home, take each other home. So life itself, in some ways, is the in-between, right? We see it as the dash. The year you were born, dash, the year you pass. So that dash is the in-between. That is our lives. Within the in-between, we also try to find, binary settings. We put ourselves in a box. You don't fit into my box? Well, you're in another box. We try to navigate these separate spaces, and I think that's human nature. It is. Like Dr. Melanie Dean stated last week. Like energy waves, we're able to find each other within the sameness and likeness. And it is human nature for us to find those who are like-minded, who maybe look like us, who have the same experiences as us. That is human nature. That's okay. It's not wrong. And that's why we have spaces where we can gather where we're alike. But that is not the point of life, to just stay in those separate spaces. Like Eileen stated the first week of this series, she realized that she was becoming too comfortable with being comfortable. She realized how she was living, and other people's struggles did not affect her at all. She realized and wanted to pay attention and start her own journey in being uncomfortable. So that also lies in the in-between. How we assess ourselves and being willing to look and learn from our experiences. That's not comfortable, learning from our experiences. When we experience something new, we think about, what is the opportunity here? What can I benefit from this? And, not making it about me, but just learning how to assess and just seeing different ways of being in the world, different ways of experiencing the world and seeing the world. I don't have answers. I'm still on my journey for sure. I just turned 53. I have a lot more learning to do. I am grateful for people who have been, involved in my life, who have walked me through this journey. And I look forward to more, definitely. And I like what Reverend Jackie stated, the shifting of generations in this community. Cindy has a deaf niece, and I met her niece, and so I just feel connected. Cindy also had a place in the deaf community through her deaf niece. So she knew some of that. And I always felt that instant connection with Cindy. So I'm excited to continue being a part of this community, as it continues to shift. I'm just thrilled. Jackie has invited me here. I love being a part of, signing on this platform, having ASL on stage for this talk. And I hope as you continue your journeys, you will pay attention and maybe notice opportunities in that gray area, in the in-between, when you start to feel uncomfortable and want to shy away and make your own space and push other experiences away, or try to make sense of it. I'm almost to the end of my talk, but just thought of one more thing. So last month in June, when we had the drag queen singer, I can't remember her name. Was it Daisy? Yes, Daisy. It was an interesting experience for me because I was sitting there. I was not interpreting that morning. I decided to just attend. I came alone, and I felt so at home. I just felt like, yes. To see it all, to see ourselves, a representation of ourselves on this platform, to see acceptance and embracing all. It doesn't have to be just this kind of church or just this kind of church. It is a community of people where we all show up and see each other on stage, see each other, in the audience, and just being in community together. So I am grateful. I am so humbled. Thank you all for hearing my journey today.
Thank you, Stacy. We're just going to settle in for a time of meditation.
As you make yourselves comfortable, your feet planted on the ground, take a moment to become aware of your body. If you'd like to close your outer eyes, feel free to do so. Begin to look within and situate with your breath. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out, and releasing any stress you're feeling, stress in your body, stress anywhere. Feel the grounding through your feet as if they are roots grounding us to source. We are full of warm light, energy, as we continue to be aware of our breath, breathing deep, deep in our belly, quieting the thoughts that try to make their way into our brain. We ground ourselves in this moment. continuing with our breath. We become aware of our heartbeat in rhythm with our breath. We remember we are love. This human experience, we will come in and out of opportunities to grow, opportunities sometimes that are not comfortable. We remind ourselves we don't have to pick this or that. We are limitless. We are humans having a spiritual beings having a human experience. We are limitless. And we are here only to be who we are. No one else is in the competition of being us. We don't have to fit into certain spaces. We don't have to be stuck in certain boxes. There is no one else in the world like me. No one else who has the exact same DNA that I have. I am a unique being here to bring only what I have to bring. There is only love. We are beloved, as our unique beings are. We are joy-filled, full of love. We belong to ourselves. We belong to Source. We ground ourselves in our breath once again with a deep, deep breath in and releasing. Feeling the warm light throughout our entire body, knowing we are the light of the world. Grateful for who we are, our uniqueness. We're grateful for the people sitting next to us, the people in this room, the people in our communities. We all share the same love, the same light. We ground ourselves in this space. Open your eyes if you feel comfortable and acknowledge the people sitting next to you and the light and love we all bring. So it is.
We have truly been blessed this morning. I know that Cindy is feeling all of that and smiling down, and I couldn't help but chuckle when your cell phone went off and it was, I feel good, and I was like, that's Cindy right there. She is feeling good. So now is the time in our service where we come forward to bless our gifts, our tithes, our talents. We have a donation box back in the back. If you choose to give that way, we have our ushers that'll be coming forward momentarily. For those who are in the balcony watching online, there's always text to give. There's an opportunity through Subsplash Online to be able to give. And so, whatever it is you choose to bring today, I just invite you to hold that in your heart and hold on to that gift, that thought, that energy. And I invite you to just take a deep breath in. And we're going to lovingly release this gift. And so, I invite you today to join me, please, in our offering statement. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful. Amen.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your
got nothing after that. Millie, thank you so much. Reverend Fred and the band, you guys are fabulous week in and week out. Thank you all so much. And I did want to share with you as a footnote to today's service relative to Cindy is that we will be in touch with the family when the timing is right for them in terms of planning for a celebration of life service. So please stay tuned to the Sunday service announcements, the e-news and so forth, and we'll definitely keep you up to date on how that all will unfold and when. Well, we're recognizing a volunteer team this week that is our Sunday counting team. These are the folks that take the treasures that you offer to the ministry every week and bless them, process them, bless them before they even leave the premises again to make their way to the banks. And so if you are on our Sunday counting team, could you stand so that we can offer you some sacred acknowledgement for all that you do? And just a couple of quick reminders, please join us in the cafe for some refreshments if you have time. And Michelle, I don't know if you're able to stay or not, but if you'd like to be able to connect with Michelle while she's here, feel free to do that as well. And as I said, for everything that you want to know about the ministry, please subscribe to the e-news if you haven't already and stay up to date with everything that's going on here at the ministry. And we're busy because we got a mission in this life, right? So let's affirm these words of our mission statement together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And we'll continue doing that next week. Reverend Jackie will bring this series of With a Brave Heart to a close. No, I'm sorry, next to last lesson in this series, and it is titled In the Zone, Comfort, Time, and Prayer. So join us for that. And now let's welcome in our kids.
We had a full classroom today. We've been kind of lacking this summer, but now we're picking it back up here. Connor had to bring his drawing in to show you guys, and so I'm going to go over that first. Right here, we have a very classy, hold it up. We got a classy man with a blue shirt and brown pants holding a guitar, and at the same time also holding Connor's hand. And Connor wrote his name big and bold, so you all know that this is, in fact, his drawing. So, yeah, good job. So we just had so much energy today. So we just spent the time drawing, playing with sand. We went into our playroom, got some energy out there, played some games together, and we all had a good time. And then we had our two older kids, Emily and Cameron, came back, and they joined us here for our last little bit. We had some big fun together, right, Maddie? Yeah. All right, last thing I want to say is today was also our first day with our first volunteer with our youth. This was Amy. She was a lifesaver today, and I want more of them. So if you are interested in volunteering to help with these wonderful children, please sign up. I want more of it. So that would be great. All right, you guys can all stand and join us for the closing song.
Stop
that's me. I'm sorry. I'm like ready to go home here. I feel good, right, Cindy? Let's do the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Have a great week, everybody.